Okay, we are live. I am super late getting logged in today, so we'll get started here in just a minute. I'm going to give everybody a chance that was going to log in to get logged in. I got a telephone call at the last second and messed me up. All right, so I'll type it. I got to make sure Evelyn gets in here. I goofed her up today. Um, it's posted. Sorry. Okay, and we'll send this one real quick so that she knows she can get logged in here. Where is it? Send. All right. So, um, all right. So, Evelyn, hopefully you're getting logged in here. Apologize. I got a telephone call, kind of important, at the right about 5 minutes before we were to get online. I thought it would be a couple-minute phone call. It turned out to go longer. So I apologize. We are running really, really late today. Thank you guys for being patient to get in here. I will give people just another minute or two to log in. Um, let's see. I think I got. Um, all right, so Evelyn, hopefully you made it in. And I know lots of you guys just hang out up here in the widget and don't log in. Again, I apologize. I'm running late today, and I have no excuses other than I ended up with a phone call at the last minute, and I should have, and could have gotten a little closer eye on the clock. So, okay. Whew. All right, I'm all scatterbrained now. All right, let's get going on this guy. What are we working on? We're working on Farmer in the Dell, I think. All right, so let's talk about where we are in guitar. Ellen, how you did make it in 65 degrees in Quago, 72 degrees in the Bay Area. Yeah, I'm actually going to. Evelyn's question is, hey, we don't get a ton of people in any of these classes. Could we combine them, work on more stuff at a time? The answer is absolutely yes. I am at this moment rethinking the whole process we're going through here because I think well, I love teaching these classes, and I love the fact that it's guitar and it's hard, um, but I also know that a lot of people. This is an interesting group of people. I haven't quite been able to get a handle on what it is that people want to do with their guitars and how they want to do it, and whether YouTube or sitting through lessons or just watching videos or what's going to work best for everybody. And so I am thinking deeply and talking to a lot of people about what the best way to continue to present guitar in this manner. It appears, at least from my reckoning, that we are likely to be in a safety issue for quite some time going forward into the future. And I want to make sure that my time is valuable and that you're getting what you need out of guitar and that your time is not being just blown up also, so that the time that you do spend is quality time getting exactly what you need out of guitar. And so I do know that there are better ways and more efficient ways to approach this. And so I am going to be looking at all of those suggestions. So thank you, Evelyn, for giving me that idea. Hey, what if we combine multiple levels? What if we did more than one song in a shot? I've tried it different ways, and I don't think any of it's been particularly successful. So I am appreciative of you giving me some feedback on these lessons. Say, hey, I listen, but I don't log in, or I do log in, and I want to play this, that, or the other. What I do know is every week I'm offering an easier song, a middle song, upper level song, and then multiple times during the week we're playing the top level song, right? And that's level 4. and finding your place through that is different for each person. The other thing I know, based on the feedback that I'm getting from people, is really you only want to play the good stuff, right? And this business of having to go through the dregs of level 1 and 2 is maybe not the most exciting thing. So that I don't know if I can fix, because unfortunately guitar is hard, and you really can do yourself a huge favor by playing it. By building your skill set properly. So having said that, I'm absolutely open to ideas, and please don't hesitate to drop me an email and say, "Hey, this would help me. This is something I want to do." Blah blah blah, and we'll figure it out. Okay. I do like the live lessons. I think that it's important that we do these. Unfortunately, because I'm doing so many live sessions, I don't always play as well as I want to play to be a good example for you, and so I need to dive into that as well and try to figure out, hey, what can I do to be better prepared for lessons? And maybe that's not playing every single day. Maybe I don't know that answer. Um, uh, anyway, please know I am trying to figure it out. Evelyn and anybody else that's hanging out with us today. The big thing we're working on is not whether the lessons are going well or whether we're playing stupid songs or anything. The big lesson is. The big lesson is that whatever you're doing, it's helping you get to another level. And so we are working on getting you to be the best fingerstyle guitarist that I know how to make you. And I am not the best fingerstyle guitar player, but I definitely know all of this techniques and tools and pieces and parts that you need to have, and then you can take those pieces and parts and put them together in your way to make them something. And absolutely, Arlo, please drop me a note and give me some suggestions as to what you think would be helpful. I do know the one thing I know for sure about guitar players is that they are an independent minded group of people. And so having one system probably doesn't work for everybody. It just probably doesn't. And so I am trying to offer, multiple ways of getting involved in guitar. The big way, the most important thing I can think of is that you're just getting your hands on the guitar every single day if possible. And the next thing that I know about guitar, of what I can deliver, is I love good solid melodies, chords that make sense, and sticking those two things together to give you an adult way to play the guitar. So yeah, playing an electric guitar is so much more fun, but it's not really how adults play guitar, right? Most of them are not pounding away on a fuzz pedal doing riffs. That's for young people. That's for young boys who want to make a lot of noise. I think old people who use electric guitars are playing jazz, and good Lord, God, you gotta love them. Most of those guys started off as young guys playing really lousy music on electric guitar. And by lousy music, I mean awesome music. I do think most of my students and most people that I end up working with tend to be retirees who have an interest in getting an activity going that makes them play well and makes them sound good and makes them feel happy about grabbing a guitar. And in that sense, I do think fingerstyle is exactly what the doctor ordered. You take a melody from whatever song you like, you find the chords for that, you stick those two things together in a way that's going to make your guitar ring out and sound really beautiful. That's usually, hopefully, not too hard to play. I mean, it's certainly every song has its challenges, and I think that's how most grown-ups want to play guitar. That's my thought. Obviously I'm wrong, with lots of good adults who want to do it some other way, but that's what I have to offer. And just finding the way and the methodology to deliver that to you is always a challenge, right? I had a perfectly lovely way of doing it until the pandemic, and then it turns out that I had to rethink everything. And so we've gone with this system, which is to have a daily lesson on YouTube. And for some of you, Farmer in the Dell is exactly what the doctor ordered, but for most of us, it's like, Farmer in the Dell again, kind of thing. So again, the song doesn't matter. If the song is irrelevant, the question is, can you grab an A chord and play the melody at the same time? That's the real question. Can you do it with subtlety and grace and beauty and have your guitar ring out in a way that's like, oh my gosh, I want to do that too. To have your neighbor next door go, yeah, I know you're playing Farmer in the Dell, but that's the best version of Farmer in the Dell I ever heard. Or I cannot believe how beautiful that guitar sounds. You must have paid a lot of money for it. And of course, most of us have a $300 guitar in our hand, right? And that's not the best guitar. A couple of us have $1 million guitars in our hands. Arlo's probably sitting there with a guitar that's worth 40,000 bucks, you know, because he's loaded. Uh, but the uh, most of us are playing with any relatively inexpensive guitars. I have at best a $50 guitar that I use every day to teach these lessons, because if I can't get it to sound good on a $50 guitar, I probably don't have a right to be playing a $10,000 guitar. And I have a couple of guitars that are super nice and super beautiful, and I do play them when I really want to put something together. But for the most part, I still want the music and your skill set to be able to come through as beautifully as it can on whatever guitar you have. So all that's a lot of talking about, hey, let me know what you think. I'm happy to retool some of this. I want to make it meaningful to you, and you know, it's free and it's YouTube. So what I mean, let's find a way for it to work for both of us. Okay. All right. Farmer in the Dell. This is not the song you want to play, but this is the skill set you want to have. You want to be able to take an A chord. You want to be able to take the melody. You want to be able to combine them together. And you want to be able to add in a few decorative notes that aren't maybe may or may not be written on the paper and have it become a thing. Okay. So that's what we're going to do today. And again, if you are on level one, the skill set from level one is going to take you easily into level two, and level two will take you easily into the rest of your life. So patience, do the assignments, do the things that it suggests in the book, or you guys don't actually have the book probably, but do everything you can on each piece of paper, so that when you get to level two, all you got to do is learn to switch your chords and do some arpeggio picking, and then you're ready for a lifetime of guitar that's going to be beautiful. So let's talk about Farmer in the Dell, things we got to know. Last time when we got together, we played Frere Jacques. It was in 4/4. When we get together this time and we're playing Farmer in the Dell, it's in 6/8. If you're a typical guitar player, you have no idea what the difference is between those two. But if you're going to be a good guitar player, you need to know the difference between a 4/4 and a 6/8 time. 6/8 means there's 6 beats in every measure, but the beats are eighth notes. Okay, so let's look at measure. Let's look at measure 1. The first note in there is a quarter note. That's the filled in dot with the line on it. That's a quarter note. It is worth 2 eighth notes. Okay, so there's 2 beats on farm. Following that is an eighth note. You can tell an eighth note because it has a one little flag on it. So that's the third beat. So in 3 beats, the farmer, okay, the farmer. That's what we got going there. 3 beats. Okay, and we don't count the. It's on a pickup note before the first beat. The farmer. Now the next note's a quarter note. Again, that's worth 2 eighth notes. In the, and then you have an eighth note to finish up. In the. Okay, so that's the last quarter note, or last eighth note is last beat. So how we would count that, if we were counting it in 6, and I'm going to tell you we're not going to count it in 6, but you need to know what it is. The farmer in the, okay, there's your 6th beat. The farmer in the, okay, 6 beats. They're eighth notes. We're used to counting quarter notes when we play most music, but when it's in 6/8 time, we count the eighth notes. Now, here's the truth. Most people don't count 6 when they're playing in 6/8. Most people count 2. The farmer in the farmer in the. So what they're really doing is 1, 2, 1, 2. So they take the 6, divide it in half, and each of those ones is worth 3 of the beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. The farmer in the dell. The farmer in the dell. Hi-ho, the dairy-o. The farmer in the dell. Okay. when we are talking about music, what will separate you from a beginner and an intermediate is how well you control your rhythm. Okay. Most everybody will get where they can pluck out a chord, right? That's not, I can go grab anybody who owns a guitar, and everybody owns a guitar, and they'll know a handful of chords. But what do you do with those chords? Well, the first thing is we got to fit those chords into a rhythm. And so we've got to know what that rhythm is. And in this case, 6/8 is a fairly complex meter. And so we either count it in 6 or we count it in 2. There are occasions, Greensleeves is the best example I can think of, where you might count it in 3, but it's extremely unusual to do that. So basically, when we're approaching a song in 6/8, I want you to be thinking, I'm going to count it in 2. The farmer in the dell, the farmer in the dell. Okay, so that's the rhythm. The tempo you do that is depends on your skill set and how much you practice. If you don't practice, it's going to be the farmer in the dell, clunk. The farmer in the dell. Yes, if you don't practice enough. If you practice a lot, it's going to be the farmer in the dell, the farmer in the dell. But here's the thing. What most new players do is they try to do the farmer in the dell, the farmer in the dell, but their skill set only allows them to do the farmer in the dell. So what should you be doing? Should you be trying to play fast and fail, or should you be trying to play slow and succeed, even though you know you're supposed to play it faster? Play slow, succeed, get the thing under your fingers, get the whole rhythm and the whole idea of the song down, then start speeding it up. Don't try to play fast and then fail, because that just makes you sad. Okay, that's how people quit guitar, by the way, is they reach a level of failure where they just can't stand it anymore. I promise, if you keep playing and you keep playing slow, you will get good, and you'll then be able to play fast. Okay, but if you try to play fast, then the guitar ends up under the bed for 20 years. A chord, 3 fingers. Right here, this is level 1. So theoretically, I assume you don't know how to play an A chord. Okay, Arlo probably has got A chord covered. He probably has an idea how to make an A chord. Here is your index finger. It's on the 4th string, 2nd fret. Middle finger, 3rd string, 2nd fret, and ring finger, 2nd string, 2nd fret. Now, you notice you don't see my thumb. My thumb is hanging out behind the fretboard, and it's hanging out right behind where my middle finger is. That's where your thumb goes. Okay. And when you do it correctly like that, you'll notice that you have nice round fingers. And that means that it's quite easy to come in at a nice vertical attack angle on your chord. And that's what we want. That round shape there is exactly what we want when we're playing guitar. You will find guys making their lives much harder by having their thumb up here. Okay, now look what happens. Okay, now all of a sudden my hand is all butted up against there, and it's harder to make chords. Okay, and I have seen cases where they've got it way up here and they'll end up with their fingers down like this. Now, does this work? Yeah, it works, right? But it's way harder, and you got a way greater opportunity to mess up. The only time that I know that you need to have your thumb up here is if you are playing an electric guitar and you need to stop these 2 strings from buzzing. Okay, so there are times an electric guitar has a much thinner neck than is on this old-fashioned guitar of mine, so you can actually reach around and stop these upper strings from buzzing. There are guitar players who will use this as a part of their bar, and they'll actually use this to hold strings down. Again, that's specific to electric guitar, and honestly, in all my life of playing guitar, you don't need to do that. I mean, you just don't. It's I can see a purpose of shutting this string down because it's going and you don't want it to go, but there are very few reasons to have your thumb up over the top. And if you're playing an acoustic guitar, I think there are no reasons to have your thumb up over the top. So it is a little bit controversial. You see guys with guitar with their thumb showing up all the time on guitar in these YouTube videos. And again, they're usually self-taught. They usually learn to play by gutting it out, playing along to records in the basement, and they don't have any formal training or correct training. The people you look at, the people who went to school for this, the people who are the top level players of the most complex music, classical guitar players, you're not going to see their thumb. It's not going to happen. It's just you're never going to see it. The only other players that are really top level like that are jazz players, and the vast majority of them play in a classical position. I have seen a handful of jazz players that do this thing too, but very, very, very uncommon. So again, thumb back here, these three fingers here. Okay. Now let's talk about this end. This is where the music comes from. Two choices. Thumb down, the farmer in the dell. Okay. The other choice is you got four fingers. We're never going to use the pinky until you're playing 20th century contemporary music, and you're never going to play 20th century contemporary music because it's terrible. Okay. You're going to play pick these four fingers and any four strings. Since it's an A chord, it makes sense that your thumb would go to the A string, right? Now you are rooted. Your low note is an A, and all of your other fingers are right there. And so you're going to play in these middle fingers, these strings 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, you're going to play those strings. Okay, if you're strumming and you're strumming down, you want to strum from 5 down. But if you hit the 6th string, it's not the end of the world. But it's better just to strum them down, these down 5. So I'd like to go through the song twice. Okay, and we're going to play the first time through. We're going to play it with pluck. So thumb, index, middle, ring, pluck, 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 pluck. This is going to come up in finger style. You're going to have to know how to do a claw shape and pluck this way, because we're going to be adding in fancy notes. Okay, so you do have to learn how to do this particular system. These three fingers can go right on the strings 2, 3, and 4, or they could also drop down to strings 1, 2, and 3, or the middle ones. Doesn't matter, right? Just as long as you got the chord held right, you can hit any strings over here and it's going to be fine. Again, try to avoid the 6th string. And then when we come back the second time through after plucking our way, I want you to strum, okay? And again, trying not to hit the 6th string, okay? Make sure your guitar is in classical position, 50 to 60 degree angle on the neck here, body of the guitar up against your body. It's down in between your two legs here. Super awkward when you first started, especially if you have a full-size guitar. Your legs are way far apart and you feel like you're gonna get pregnant, and you want not you got to get used to that idea, because when you're practicing you're usually sitting down. When you go to perform you're usually standing up, and when you stand up this guitar is going to drop down into this classical position. And so just get used to sitting in a weird fashion, because you're probably going to be performing standing up. Okay, if you ever perform at all. Okay, next thing, we talked about that. Guitar tuning, you're still level 1, E, A, D, G, B, E. So let's make sure. Does your guitar sound like this? E, A, D, G, B, E. Okay, so double check. 100% of the times that I play, I tune up. I don't ever assume a guitar is in tune. Okay, first time through, pluck, 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 pluck. Second time through, strum, 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 strum. Here we go. I'm going to say the, and then you're going to go two beats per measure. Okay. And then we'll try it with 6. I'll show you what 6 sounds like afterwards. It's not so great. Okay. 2 beats per measure. 1, 2. The farmer in the dell. The farmer in the dell. Hi-ho, the dairy-o, the farmer in the dell. Strum. The farmer in the dell. The farmer in the dell. Hi-ho, the dairy-o, the farmer in the dell. Okay, let the guitar ring. Don't ever let up on this until the guitar has completely done its job, or you have shut it down. The best way to shut your guitar down without making other weird noises, take your wrist and just slide it up. Okay, take it from your bridge up, because if you go straight down you can clunk on it, right? You can clunk on that and you don't want to do that. You can sometimes you get it right. Now see, I didn't get it right because my hand's not perfectly flat. Okay, but if you just drag it up from the bridge over the saddle, it's going to sound the best. Okay, that's your A chord. Okay, and that's the second song in the book already that we've had an A chord on. And so hopefully that's coming together. The other chord you were using the other day was E chord, so make sure that's a chord. E chord and A chord will come up every single day you play guitar. There will never be a day when you don't play an E chord or an A chord. So let's get them in your noggin as soon as possible. All right. Last thing I asked level 1 players to do is play the melody. Okay, and in this case, every single note is a 2 except the zeros. Okay, so we have some open notes and some 2s. So let's make sure we get our middle finger. He's going to play all of the notes. Okay, these other fingers are going to hang out as if they're going to play, but they're not really going to play. And then we just have to make sure to use our thumb on the correct string. Okay, so play along with me from the pickup note. It's a 2 on the 4th string to the. Okay, let's go from there. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Oh, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Oh, oh, 2, oh, 2, 2. Oh, 2, 2, oh, oh, 2. Let's go to the top. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Oh, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Oh, oh, 2, oh, 2, 2. Oh, 2, 2, oh, oh. Second ending, 2. In this case, it's the 10th ending. Okay. You can also tell why men like guitars because those notes are actually in my singing. I can actually sing those notes. When I'm playing ukulele, the notes are too high and I'm always running out of ability to sing them. But guitar, because it's voiced lower, it's voiced an octave below it's written, you can hear how it would fit into a male voice a little better. And that's why so many guitars end up male, I think, right? It just fits their voices when they sing. And most guitarists who end up doing this long term have some ability to sing. That's why those of us who don't sing, we have a lot harder road to go through in terms of learning how to actually play the instrument and get the melody out of it. Okay. Now, the last piece of the information on this that I got to talk about is we just used our middle finger on all these strings and it was bouncing up and around. It seemed very inefficient, right? So now let's take this A chord and place it over the top. Now we have all of the 2s held down almost. Okay. Now, when we get to a 0, we may have to lift up a finger and we may have one point where we're going to roll this ring finger down to catch the 1st string, but we're going to hold that A chord and we're going to have all of the 2s held down for the most part, and we will have to lift one finger up at one point to make it into a 0. Okay, so grab your A chord, and then notice first note is a 2 on the 4th string. You're already holding it down. Play it. 2. Next 4 or 5 notes are all on the 3rd string, and you're already holding it down. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Now we got a 0 on the 2nd string. You're currently holding a 2, so lift up your ring finger, play the 0, and then put it right back down. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Now we go on the 1st string. It's a 0. You're not holding anything down there now, so you can go ahead and play those next 2 zeros. Oh, oh, and you're going to roll your ring finger down to get that 2. The, and then roll it right back off to hit the 0 again. 0, and then 2, 2. Now we're going to lift up our ring finger under the to get that note there, and then put it back down. 2, 2, and then pick it back up. Oh, oh, 2. Now, by accident, this is the beginning of fingerstyle play, where you're holding a chord, you're modifying that chord slightly, either by lifting this finger up or rolling it down to get the melody notes, and by accident, you're already playing fingerstyle and you're on lesson 3. Okay, you get the same exact lesson, the same exact thought processes in Frere Jacques. So by holding the chords, you're going to be able to hold down most of the notes. Let's play from top to bottom, just one time through. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Oh, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Oh, oh, 2, oh, 2, 2, oh, 2, 2, oh, oh, 2. Beautiful, right? Last thing then, and I don't, if you were here in town, I would not expect you to be able to play this, but you're online, you're my captive audience. Let's go ahead and think about how we would play the tough axe. Okay. Normally in my local classes here, I just play it for them and tell them where we're going with fingerstyle. But since you guys are online and you can actually just sit and pay attention to what I'm doing and be practicing at home without driving anybody crazy, what I like with tough axe is now we take what we just learned, holding the A chord, plucking out the melody. But in addition to that, we're going to slide our thumb down over some of the other strings until we hit that melody note, and then it's going to have chords and melody together. Okay, so the first note's a 2, it's right here. Okay, and I'm still holding my A chord. Now it's a 0, 2, 2. So I'm going to take my thumb, strum down over those 3 strings, and it's physically going to come to rest on the second string as if I'm hanging out on a hammock. The string I'm not going to play, I'm going to let my thumb rest on. Okay, next 3 notes are all 2s on the 3rd string, so we can play those. 2, 2, 2, and then you got that 0, 2, 2 again. And then you got 2 pretty notes, a 2 and a 0. Okay, those are just in there to fill up space. You notice on the sheet music there's a big gap there because you're playing a half note. That's 4 eighth notes in a row where there's nothing going on. So we put in a couple of little decorative notes there to fill up some time. Next note's a 0. You're holding that A chord down, so you got to lift up your ring, hit the A or the open, and then put it right back down. Strum 4 strings now. Hit the 3 2s in a row, and then it's another strum. 2 more pretty notes. 2 2. Okay, now we're going to hit 0 2 2 2 0. That's everybody, right? You go clear out the bottom of the strings. Hit the 0 again. Roll your ring finger down to get the 2. Put it back and strum the full chord. And hit 2 2. Then lift up your ring finger for the 0. Put it back down for 0 2 2 2. Hit it again. Lift your ring finger up to get the 0 in on that. 2 2. Then you got some decorative notes, 0 2, and then you're immediately going to start over 2. Okay, so now we'll play through that one last time. Make sure that everything's going great. If you are working next level, guys, be thinking about not just strumming on those chords, which is fine. That's actually going to turn out to be about 85% of the time in fingerstyle. This is going to sound absolutely beautiful. But you can also be thinking about playing this straight through with your claw. And those of you thinking classical music, you absolutely need to be able to do that. Is to be able to play the entire piece just with your claw as written. Okay, so let's give that a try from the top. 1 2. Let's go to the top and try it one more time. I played into the first repeat and then realized, I don't need to be there. I need to be on the second repeat. So I fudged a little ending on there. So as far as I know, that's everything possible thing you should know about for Farmer in the Dell. How to think about 6/8 time, how to hold an A chord, how to pluck out the melody, how to strum out the chords and sing, how to pluck out the melody, and then how to tackle tough axe both in strumming and in plucking. The only thing on this page that isn't available to you yet as a guitar player, this only has 1 chord, and so in book 2 we learn to switch from chord to chord. Okay, and that's going to come up. And then the other thing that's not this page specifically would be arpeggio picking, which is where we take the chord and we don't play the melody, but we make the chord sound fancy. So in this case, it would be the farmer in the dell, the farmer in the dell, high the dairy-o, the farmer in the dell. Okay, so that's called arpeggio picking, and that's when we're taking just the chords and fancying them up, and then we're singing over the top of the arpeggios. For now, we're singing over them, but eventually you play over the top of them as well. That's when you reach true fingerstyle. When you take the chord, take the melody, smash them together, play that, and then squeeze in arpeggio picking anywhere in between the notes that give you the opportunity to do that. So that's where we wrap up Farmer in the Dell. Sorry I was late again today, guys. I messed up your whole day probably and what your normal schedule is. Again, I had a phone call that I had to attend to, and I'm sorry. So hopefully, Farmer in the Dell is coming together. Don't be shy about sending me emails, guys. I hear from ukulele players all day long, but I don't hear from guitar players, and I need to know what I should be doing to make sure that you're getting something in every day that's valuable to you. And if that's a live lesson, I want to keep doing those. If it's something else that you need in order to get yourself playing every day, let me know. Some of you guys show up every day. There's a couple of you showing up every day. I don't know who you are, and I don't know what you want. And so make sure you drop me an email and say, hey, Gary, this is going great, or please keep doing more of this, or do less of this. Gary, if you could talk less, that would be great. I get it. I do talk too much. But I am so excited about this program. I'm so excited about getting people who are grown-ups with crummy guitars playing them like grown-ups with better guitars, and I love the sound of guitar. I love everything, its history, and all of the options you have. There is literally an unlimited instrument. Like piano, you can do everything on this thing. And unlike piano, you can you have a personal relationship with this instrument. When you play piano, it's just a box with wires, and every box is a little bit different, and none of them are going to love you back. But guitars, you spend a lot of time with one specific guitar. You want it to really, really speak in your voicing, and that's what we're working towards. So there we go. Farmer in the Dell is not the song you want to play, but boy, the skills that are sitting in there are the skills you want to have. So hope that's helpful. You guys have a wonderful day. Thank you, Evelyn, for being here. Arlo, as always, delighted and honored that you join us. And whoever else is hiding up here, I so appreciate you being here. I know that you don't necessarily want to reveal your identity, and that's perfectly fine. But send me an email and let me know if I'm doing any good. Have a wonderful day, you guys, and I will see you not tonight. I had to cancel the lesson for tonight because of my condo board meeting. I'm going to learn to read my schedule. Make sure you're on the email list over denverguitarorchestra.com. And so no lesson tonight, or no concert tonight, but I will be back here tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to play everything from the week, and it's a good group of songs. We got Farmer in the Dell, which is an iffy song. Itsy Bitsy Spider is a little better song, because if you ever have a kid around, man, you get to play Itsy Bitsy Spider for him. Hide and Rosaline is one of my favorite tunes, maybe of all time, and so we're going to play that tomorrow. And then also make sure you have a copy of Lean on Me. If you haven't, send me an email, and I'll make sure you get a copy of it, and we'll play that tomorrow as well. So tomorrow will be a good day just to come in and see how you're doing. Okay, have a great afternoon or evening or morning or whatever time schedule you're on, and stay safe. Seriously, guys, it's insane what's going on out there, especially if you're an American. Oh my gosh, we are messing it up. Have a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow.